Thus eagerly did Priam and his servants see to the yodeling of their cars at the palace. Then Hecuba came to them all sorrowful, with a golden goblet of wine in her right hand, that they may make a drink offering before they set out. She stood in front of the horses and said, "Take this, make a drink offering to Father Zeus, and since you are minded to go to the ships in spite of me, pray that you may come safely back from the hands of your enemies. Pray to the son of Cronus, Lord of the whirlwind, who sits on Ida and looks down over all Troy. Pray him to send his swift messenger on your right hand, the bird of a Omen, which is strongest and most dear to him of all birds, that you may see it with your own eyes and trust it as you go forth to the ships of the Danaans. If all seeing Zeus will not send his messenger, however set upon it may be, I would not have you go to the ships of the Argives." And Priam answered, "Wife, I do as you desire me. It is well to lift hands in prayer to Zeus. If so be he may have mercy upon me." With this the old man bade the serving woman pour water over his hands, and the woman came bearing the water bowl. He washed his hands and took the cup from his wife, and then he made the drink offering and prayed, standing in the middle of the courtyard, and turning his eyes to heaven. "Father Zeus," he said, "that rulest from Ida most gloriously and most great, grant that I may be received kindly and passionately in the tents of Achilles, and send your swift messenger upon my right hand, the bird of Omen, which is strongest and most dear to you of all birds, that I may see it with my own eyes and trust it as I go forth to the ships of the Danaans." So did he pray, and Zeus, Lord of the council, heard his prayer. Forthwith he sent an eagle, the most unerring portent of all birds that fly, the dusky hunter that men also called the black eagle. His wings were spread abroad on either side, as wide as the well-made and well-bolted door of the rich man's chamber. He came to them flying over the city upon the right hand, and when they saw him, they were glad in their hearts to comfort within them. The old man made haste to mount his chariot and drove out through the inner gateway and under the echoing gatehouse, and of the outer court. Before him pointed the mules, drawing the four-wheeled wagon and driving by wise Idias. Behind these were the horses, which the old man lashed with the whip and drove swiftly through the city, while his friends followed, after wailing and lamenting for him as though he were on the road to death. As soon as they had come down from the city and reached the plain, his sons and sons-in-law, who followed him, went back to Ilium. But Priam and Idias, as they showed out upon the plain, did not escape the ken of all-seeing Zeus, who looked down upon the old man, pitied him, and spoke to his son Hermes, and said, "Hermes, for it is you who are the most disposed to escort men on their way, and to hear those whom you will hear. Go and so conduct Priam to the ships of the Phaeacians, and no other of the Danaans shall see him, nor take note of him until he reach the son of Peleus." Thus he spoke, and Hermes, guide of the guardian, slayer of Argus, did as he was told forthwith. He bound on glittering golden sandals, which he could fly like the wind over the land and sea. He took the wand, which he seals men's eyes in sleep, or wakes them just as he pleases, and flew holding it in hand till he came to Troy and to Hellespont. So look out, he was like a young man of noble birth in the heyday of his youth, and the beauty of the down just coming down upon his face. Now when Priam and Idias has driven past the great tomb of Ilium, they say to their mules and horses that they might drink in the river, for the shades of night were falling. When therefore Idias saw Hermes standing near them, he said to Priam, "Take heed, descendants of Dardanus. Here is a matter which demands consideration. I see a man who I think will presently fall upon us. Let us fly with our horses, or at least embrace his knees and implore him to take compassion upon us." When he heard the old man's heart failed him, that he was in great fear, he stayed where he was as one dazed, and the hair stood on and over his whole body. But the bringer of good luck came up to him and took him by the hand, saying, "Whither, father, are you thus driving your mules and horses in the dead of night, when other men are asleep? Are you not afraid of the fierce Phaeacians, who are hard by you, so cruel and relentless? Should some one of them see you bearing so much treasure through the darkness of the flying night, what would not your state to them be? You are no longer young, and he who is with you is too old to protect you from those who would attack you. For myself, I will do you no harm, and I would defend you from anyone else. For you remind me of my own father." And Priam answered, "It is indeed as you say, my dear son. Nevertheless, some god has held his hand over me, in that he has sent such a wayfarer as yourself to me so opportunely. You are so comely in the and in figure, and your judgment is so excellent that you must come of blessed parents." Then said the slayer of Argus, guiding guardian, "Sir, all that you have said is right, but tell me and tell me true. Are you taking this rich treasure to send it to foreign people, where it may be safe, or are you all leaving strong Ilium in dismay, now that you are the son of has fallen, who was the bravest man among you, and I was never lacking in battle with the Phaeacians?" And Priam said, "Who are you, my friend, and who are your parents, that you speak so truly about the fate of my unhappy son?" The slayer of Argus, guiding guardian, answered him, "Sir, you would approve me that you question me about noble Hector. Many a time have I set eyes upon him in battle, when he was driving the Argives to their ships and putting them to the sword. We stood still and marveled, for Achilles in his anger with the son of Atreus suffered us not to fight. I am his squire and came with him in the same ship. I am a Myrmidon, and my father's name is Polypator. He is a rich man, about as old as you are. He has 6 sons besides myself, and I am the 7th. We cast lots, and it fell upon me to sail hither with Achilles. I am now come from the ships onto the plain, where the daybreak the Phaeacians will set battle from the ray about the city. They chafe at doing nothing, and are so eager that the princes cannot hold them back." Then answered Priam, "If you are indeed the squire of Achilles, son of Peleus, tell me now the whole truth. Is my son still at the ships, or has Achilles hewn him limb from limb and given him to his hounds?" "Sir," replied the slayer of Argus, guiding guardian, "neither hounds nor vultures have not yet devoured him. He is still just lying at the tents by the ships of Achilles, and though it is now 12 days that he has lain there, his flesh is not wasted, nor the worms eaten him, although they fed on warriors. At daybreak Achilles drags him cruelly from the sepulchre of his dear comrade, but it does not no hurt. You should come yourself and see how he lies fresh as dew, with blood will wash away, and his wounds, every one of them closed through, many pierced him with their spears. Such are the blessed gods taking your brave son, for he was dear to them beyond all measure." The old man was comforted as he heard him, and said, "My son, see what a good thing it is to have made due offerings to the immortals. For as sure as that he was born, my son never forgot the gods that hold Olympus, and we requite him to even death. Accept therefore at my hands this goodly chalice. Guard me with heaven's help. Guide me till I come to the tent of the son of Peleus." Then answered the slayer of Argus, guiding guardian, "Sir, you are tempting me and playing upon my youth, but you shall not move me, for you are offering me presents without a knowledge of Achilles, whom I fear and hold great guiltlessness to defraud. Lest some evil presently befall me, but as you guide, I would go with you even to Argos itself, and would guard you so carefully whether by sea or land, that no one should attack you through making light of him who was with you." The bringer of good luck then sprang onto the chariot, seizing the whip and the reins, and he briefed the fish spears into the wheels of the horses, and they reached the trench, and at the wall that was before the ships. Those who were on guard had just been getting their suppers, and the slayer of Argus threw them all into a deep sleep. Then he drew back the bolts to the open gates and took Priam inside with the treasure he had upon his wagon ere long he came to the lofty dwelling of the son of Peleus, for which the Myrmidons cut pine, and they had built for their king. When they had built it, they thatched it with a coarse stocky grass, which they had mown out on the plain, and all round it they were made a large courtyard, which was fenced with stakes set close together. The gate was barred with a single bolt of pine, which it took 3 men to force into its place, and 3 to draw back as to open the gate. But Achilles, who drive by himself, Hermes opened the gate for the old man and brought in the treasure that he was taking with him, the son of Peleus, that he sprang from the chariot onto the ground and said, Sir, it is I, immortal Hermes, that am come with you, for my father sent me to escort you. I will now leave you, and will not enter into the presence of Achilles, for it might anger him that a god should befriend a mortal man thus openly. Go you within and embrace the knees of the son of Peleus, beseech him by his father, his lovely mother, and his son, thus you may move him. With these words Hermes went back to high Olympus. Priam sprang from his chariot to the ground, leaving Idias where he was. In charge of the mules and horses, the old man went straight into the house where Achilles, loved of the gods, was sitting, where he found him and his men were seated at a distance from him. Only 2, the hero Automedon and Alcinous, seated at a distance from him. Only 2, the hero Automedon and Alcinous, of the race of Ares, were busy in attendance about the person, for he had just done eating and drinking. The table were still there. King Priam entered without their seeing him, and going right up to Achilles, he clasped his knees and kissed the dread murderous hands that had slain so many of his sons. As when some cruel spite has befallen a man, that he should have killed someone in his own country, and must fly to a great man's protection in the land of strangers, and all marvel who see him, even so did Achilles marvel as he beheld Priam. The others look one to another and marvel also at Priam, the son of Achilles, saying, Think of your father, O Achilles, like unto the gods, who is such even as I am, on the sad threshold of age. It may be those who dwell near him harass him, and there is none alive to keep war and room from him. And when he hears of you being still alive, he is glad, and his days are full of hope that you shall see his dear son come home to him from Troy.